All right, we're going to do another 10Q game, this time on Fox. This is normally my YouTube members account, but I did want to add a few 10Q games, and you have to play more on Fox than you do on Panda. So I was hoping for at least 5, but I ended up playing like 2 of them in a row last time. So we'll see how many I end up getting through here. All right, let's get into a game.
Start to play.
All right, I am black, and this time I feel a little bit like playing for more territory. So I'm going to do some corner enclosures and some 3-4s. I actually am really enjoying just doing the standard, the standard 3-4 enclosure. When your opponent attaches like this, you have to block. You cannot do anything else. The block is mandatory. When they do this one, if you want to kill, you could extend. And then when they Hane and connect, you just protect. And I think that's what I want to do. Because last time, I think I showed you a way of just protecting on the outside. But this time I wanted to do a little bit more than that. So again, we are going to protect the outside first. They're not alive yet in that area. We can then throw in here. And then we can extend down. Those are the 2 vital points for this shape here. And now they are a dead group in the corner. This may end up being a very short game, but it depends on what my opponent ends up doing. Okay, they did decide to cut. So I think the weaker group is the one that is on the left side. So I'm going to jump from that first because there is this large amount of Hanes that they could do. Now we're going to fix our shape perfectly with this bamboo joint. We don't want to do anything too complicated here because any other move still leaves a big weakness. The Atari is not a big weakness. That's removing a liberty from their stones. That move is not a Sente move. And they were supposed to jump out from the center. So I'm going to jump towards the center and the spot that they were supposed to jump. They were supposed to jump this direction. Now, when I do that, we're getting into a nice big fight. I'm only going to be jumping 1 space at a time to do sort of a close quarters fight here. They did decide to play away, and I am tempted to pincer. But something else that I really like to do, and I think is often a very good idea, is to just clean up an area. So I'm just going to kill off these 3 stones and let them press down my group and see what they decide to do. Yep, we'll block here. I guess they're going to push and cut. Otherwise, they're just getting rid of liberties, so it's usually not a good idea to do that. Oh, they're doing the wedge. This is where we do want to read. We could Atari from the outside, but I think in general, Atari from the inside, but I think in general we want to Atari from the outside. And our goal is just to protect our stones and make more thickness. The more that they struggle, the better it is for us. So I'm just going to connect solidly. Anything on the second and third line is usually the weaker side, and we can just take a liberty here. As you see, they only have a few liberties, so we can just take one. If they Atari us, they only have 2 liberties left. Liberties are extremely important in these fights. Okay, they're trying to be a little bit more sneaky in how they're doing it, because if they Atari, oh, there you go, he resigned. So that one was a very, very quick game. Let's go over this game first and then decide if we want to do anything else. So normally I would be playing another game, but I do want to reserve most of the games for YouTube members anyway. I figured that gives me a good chance to maybe talk a little bit about fighting in the center and how to properly manage your groups, at least to some degree. Because they did try to do something like that in this game. First, I want to do a little bit of talking about that first sort of move they played, which was the attachment here. No matter which side they attach, you need to just connect your stones. In this case, connecting in this way. And of course, if they play on the other side, you connect in the other way. After your stones are connected, you are very strong. You don't have to really worry about what your opponent is doing. Even if they play like another Hane sort of thing here, you can just extend and not worry about anything. It's actually the same when they do it the other way as well, especially, I'm going to say especially this early in the opening. If you really want to kill, you can take your corner back and maybe we get this sort of exchange where they have at least some stones on the left side. So they have something that could be useful in the game. But when it's this early, influence is significantly more helpful. So if they push a few times and you can take the corner, you can even block and turn here and make it very difficult for them to live. But the idea, though, is that since it's so early in the opening, if they did decide to play more tricky, all you do is you stay connected and you keep extending ahead of them, keeping your liberties really high. The more complicated type move you play, being like cuts, for example, the more likely things are to go wrong. That is what they want when they play these types of moves. Any person who plays this on the fifth move of the game wants it to become complicated. I know I've seen this in a previous game, but just sort of mention it. Oh, I guess my keyboard is dying. So I believe last time I think I did just this connection. You could do like this way is probably the better way. White is able to live here as long as you're fixing your outside shape, but white lives extremely small and you have extremely nice thickness that's going to be very useful for the rest of the game. Even if you just take your own enclosure in any way you want, just doing this high enclosure because it just looks like it fits nicely here. Anything is good here, you're going to be in a significant advantage. That doesn't mean you're going to win, but you are in a significant advantage. Something I do want to point out is that you should never be afraid when they come and take this corner because they're not getting that many points. So let's say they enclose their corner now. If we play this Hane into the corner and this Hane over here, you can see that they only really have let's say they even get to block. They have 4 points in the corner. They spent 9 to 10 moves getting 4 points. You very much are likely to have more than 4 points around your thickness. That's how I evaluate these social situations. If my opponent lives very small and I have a lot of thickness, I'm very happy. The other way of playing, which is what I wanted to demonstrate in this game, which is significantly more dangerous, but should actually be fine, is this descend here, which I played. I can probably go to the actual variation. The idea is that they can no longer live because when they play the standard move here and block, this is the L group +1, which means you can Hane, and no matter what move they play on the inside, the group is already dead. That means that they now have to cut and try to fight. It's going to be very difficult. How do we manage these sorts of cuts? It's all about knowing where your opponent's forcing moves are, and your opponent's more forcing moves are just your weaknesses on the board. If we just play away entirely, black could do this fun Hane thing here. Or not black, white could do this fun Hane thing here and come underneath if they have to. That's one potential weakness. There's also the idea pincering these two stones. If I have to Atari and connect here, then now the other group is getting hurt because I'm able to break the bamboo joint. I have to connect because I don't want them capturing those stones. And now there is another potential problem here of maybe go here instead of white surrounding black, black having a really hard time needing to now kill the corner if they can, because neither side is alive right now. And if white's able to live in the corner and let black live, that's also a good result for white. We now have this other weakness on the board. Let's say we play away again. After white goes down, now this black group is still not alive. So it will have to run away. So there is something to worry about. As long as you do not play away, you are fine. White could even play in a different order if they really wanted to. If they wanted to attach here first. If you Atari from the outside, now you have a cutting point. You'd have to fix that. And then now white can just capture the two stones. So if you don't want to do that, you'd have to back off. We still get this move for free. And now white is attacking the two black stones in a very severe manner. Now, even if the corner is dead, let's say the corner is just dead and black has to crawl 7 times, white at least got something from this, and white is not necessarily unhappy. So now that we know what the weaknesses are in this position, we could be more prepared for when white cuts. So when they cut, you have to think about which thing you believe is the bigger weakness. You could protect on this side, or you could protect on this side. And of course, you do not Atari the cutting stone. That gives yourself a second weakness, which is the cutting point from the Atari, and it makes it easier for white to attack one of the two sides. You want white to be the one to extend. Here it becomes a little bit difficult for white as long as you do this, but I do want to show how white is supposed to play. If white extends here, we do want to just fix our shape completely. We don't want to let white take that at all. We don't play any other move because any other move allows more stuff for us to worry about. We just fix it with the bamboo joint, and white is supposed to jump. I mentioned this in the game. White was supposed to jump, so that's why we jumped in that position. Now we could be a little bit aggressive. We can play a knight's move in order to apply some pressure to the white stones. White's supposed to jump up. We can jump away. And then if we're protecting the group in the center properly, we are supposed to keep playing moves in the center. So let's say we play one more move here, and then even we'll jump one more time on either side. This is actually important. Now, the 15 stone is probably more important on the top versus the left side. Because the top, if black jumps here, they're building that top side, so it's not as useful. Whereas on this side, if black jumps, they're not really building. White could easily just enclose their corner and they're fine. But if white does not defend one more time and they try to get worried about territory, now black is able to build from the direction that they want to build, and now white has to worry even more about territory. This is why if you are going to defend in the center, you have to keep defending until your group is not able to be attacked easily. Usually what I'm looking for is where my opponent can build. That's the direction that I want to jump towards. Even though it was a short game, I hope that bit of information was still very helpful for you. You can see how it went wrong for my opponent in the game. They end up dying in the corner, and they don't go back to protect the stone in the center first. If they did do that, even if the game was bad for them because they made a mistake, there was still a possibility of coming back, again, and against a normal opponent. So I'm able to attack. Your opponent's vital point is your vital point, and then we can just play very simple moves. Capture the stones. We don't need to do anything special here. Hope you guys enjoyed this game. Hope you guys enjoyed the miniature lecture. I hope you guys are having a good day. Have fun.